Good afternoon. Today's date is August 22nd in the year 2024. This is You Know Who. As you know, I am managing several YouTube channels at this time. This is one of those YouTube channels. The other YouTube channel is youtube.com/@2025 countdown. I will continue to utilize that YouTube channel and this YouTube channel for life coaching advice that you need during this period in time. We're going to focus on the importance of in-person meetups, okay, in a world in which people are concerned for good reason about their privacy. People are concerned for good reason about their LinkedIn pages. People are concerned for good reason about other forms of privacy. Unfortunately, I feel that too many men and women have too much of a false hope, unfortunately, a false sense of security, a unfortunate trust with the trinkets and baubles of social media. That would include, right, websites, social media websites that I personally could benefit from, maybe even find love, sex, things of that nature, carnal things, maybe make a lot of money. TikTok. And I'm telling you, I think that a lot of women, by design, have been duped into this whole TikTok thing for advice, for life coaching tips. I'm not going to say that all the videos are bad on TikTok, but that when you know it's owned by a foreign government and they're preparing to go to war with the United States, we're not going to go to it. It has obvious safety concerns. Okay, so the in-person meetup, when you meet in person at, say, a restaurant that everybody knows about, where there's surveillance cameras monitoring the parking lot, that is an opportunity where people can meet in person and talk about real things and put away the digital devices. Every time you email, every time you visit a page, every time you send a message, even if you think it's allowing you to unsend the message, it is always a part of the permanent record. And so, for good reason, people at times remove their LinkedIn page. I'm going to go ahead and edit this real quick, the stream of this, the value of hosting your own internet meetups. TikTok warning for women. No privacy online. Okay. And so, well, actually, okay, we're going to cover a couple of things. That should do it. Okay, so the current title here is hosting your internet free meetups, TikTok privacy warning for women, and LinkedIn safety. Okay. Uh, okay. So that should do it. Now, I had a LinkedIn page under my given birth name, and I took down the page when Vince McMahon or one of his henchmen at the WE began looking at my page, because I have a very long history of criticizing professional wrestling. Even if I've played some of their clips, I've actually bashed wrestling because of the promotion of violence against women. And so because I used their footage and I had Mike Blue here on my show and we talked about it in great detail. Okay. Those videos no longer exist, is what I'm saying. And we were talking about that programming being rotten. And then I've talked about other programming really that shouldn't even exist. You know. So in this world sometimes when you accuse certain corporations of clearing out a certain level of mind control, and they had my videos removed more than once. And so I already knew that I attracted the ire of either Vince McMahon personally or the people that watch over, YouTube. And so it's for that reason that I decided to stop. Okay. And so there's many, many, many videos that I've created exposing the human trafficking of women. And some of them were taken down by YouTube or Google on the back end. And that's malicious. Because it's very important that women that just now find me understand that my resume of warning about this futuristic, dystopia, it goes back 15, 20 years. Before you know it, we'll be at the 20-year anniversary in 3 more years. It's over the 17-year anniversary. And me interviewing that man that had visions of human trafficking getting worse when our country's invaded by foreign governments. And keep in mind that somebody on the back end on YouTube, right, who knows who it was, on the other channel went in and privated a massive amount of videos. So who knows who that is? Uh, and so everything is strange now with technology. Um, Sometimes I'll upload videos and there'll be no likes and just dislikes. And yet I'll do like a live video and I'll see if there's a bunch of likes. And so we have a bunch of mixed signals. Okay. The point is this: a lot of women have been duped into a false sense of security from the internet, bringing them a lot of clicks and attention through TikTok. There was one person, I won't say her name, she, at the time that she left YouTube, was very, very, she is married, or at least was married, so I should watch what I say. But there was something about her demeanor and her consciousness that was attractive. Okay. And so her last video was her praising my awareness of the solar flares. Okay, and I'm not going to give you her channel. Some of you may know who I'm talking about. Okay, and I'm not going to say the name of her channel. And that was her last video. Okay, and to me, that isn't an accident that I want, after making many, many videos, reach an epiphany that I had a certain level of, basically. And she verbalized that. That was her last YouTube video. Not uploading. Then she went over to TikTok. She changed her appearance. She dyed her hair again. And then at age 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, after maybe 2 or 3, 4 kids, started doing the hula hoop thing, trying to pretend maybe she was 15 or 16 or 17. Kind of like the female version of this. It was very obvious that whatever she was talking about intellectually on YouTube was muted. And then another version of herself came out for TikTok that was hula hoop girl. It wasn't the same, and her beauty was gone. And so you can call me crazy, but when people are on certain websites, and I just don't mean porn websites, but certain social media websites, something about their true glow and essence changes. And there's also a deeper reason why women that haven't reached a certain level of true spiritual maturity and growth don't feel safe uploading to YouTube and making videos about archons, consciousness, meditation, rising above lust, or if they do believe in being sexually open, that it's okay to feel pleasure, as in, they certainly don't make videos. And so what I'm saying is our dependency on technology is drifting people away from a Christ consciousness, for there to be true peace and harmony, in my opinion, in the future, the devices are going to have to be off. Okay, my idea of a happy, healthy family right now is a family that eats together, that prays together, that prays over their food, that if they're going to sit in front of the screen and whatnot, they sit in front of the screen together. They watch a good movie. Uh, let's see. We're going to update this. Okay. So we updated it again because now we really want to focus on the fact that loving couples and families make eye contact with each other. Okay. I would love to have comments open, but there's a real lack of participation, right? When the comments are open. And I really want to encourage the people email me and attempt real friendship with me. That if people want to like me or communicate with me, that they seek to directly do that. And that the like comment thing, as far as energetic payback to me, doesn't do a lot to me or for me as far as faith in the universe, cosmos. In fact, everything being internet based right now, even though it has positive applications, to me is the dystopia. Yes, there's decent things that you can do on the internet through screens, but it's through this reality where we feel like we can't make eye contact with each other that we become sicker. Like the truth is, when I go to the supermarket, I am to avoid eye contact with the women there because there is no sign in here that they are interested in friendship. And so it is proper and respectful, okay, to understand the proper behaviors of any given day and time. We're not in the 1980s anymore. This is not some scene from The Heavenly Kid where the spirit guide comes in to give the young man confidence to talk to the woman. However, that is what has to happen to bypass technology. You just have to have the discernment. Okay. So if you're watching me, for example, in a futuristic reality on a flash drive and it's 2044 or something, you're in a completely different reality. Or if you're in some sort of an Amish village where there's no computer screens and there's no cell phones and you're far enough away from the cell towers, and your family eats dinner at the same time and all devices are either shut off, or you're in a very different reality than the reality that most people are in. Most people in 2024, myself included, at the very moment that I'm speaking to you, everything that we are doing now revolves around the screen. And it's not just like on the levels that you might think. Like they've got it down to a level to where even if you think you can avoid screen addiction by getting a job and getting outside the house, at Walmart, for example, you have to constantly be looking at the cell phone screen in order to do your job. And despite the fact that there's a lot of information that you can get from the cell phone, right, regarding things, they're still handling fruits and vegetables that have been sprayed by Monsanto and multinational corporations. Okay, and so even though they have a cell phone, what they look at, what information they get is actually far more reduced than the book reading generation. Okay, so my generation is different than the older generation, which has a higher attention span and appreciation for hard books like this, which we're going to talk about later today when I get home. This book. And how this book by Dion Fortune, called The Magical Battle of Britain, contains powerful, especially for Christians, spiritual information that you can share on Nextdoor with your community for the days in which our nation is at war with the bear and the dragon. The screen reality is a product of the Antichrist. It's obvious. But God gave us and me right now the chance to do good on the screen. Okay. But I know that families that eat dinner together, okay, that set aside the screen, that don't send their daughters and sons in the direction of dating apps, right? Just families know that this dating app reality is creating a situation in which many people are ending up married to people whose families they have no history of. That would be potential for domestic violence. That would be alcoholism. That would be unresolved bad spirits lingering from generational ancestral trauma. And so the value in learning about Eve Lorgan's book, not to take her word as gospel, is just to have an understanding that in the modern world of technology, seeking love and romance can be extraordinarily complicated when you're dealing with average consciousness. And average consciousness right now, most people cannot keep it together to keep away the interference when they're on the screens. And so there is a movement afoot of people establishing meetups again, getting away from dating apps, but the modern understanding way of doing it, the 15-minute dating, the 10-minute dating, that's only a means to an end. When we talk about mindful dating and getting beyond the layers and layers of programming, this is something that people are going to need years and years of deprogramming from. And I don't know how that can happen with the current level of influence, with the current technological grid. I mean, there would have to literally be some sort of a cosmic shift of enlightenment that would be influencing people within society to be creating the mechanisms and the institutions and the systems in place that would allow for, say, conscious, godly Christians and other spiritual people to meet each other and to not have their relationships sabotaged by satanic forces. And ultimately, this is the plot of The Adjustment Bureau, a movie, I believe, with Matt Damon, to where satanic or demonic forces are interfering in his love life. And so we humans have been divided in many cases from romance and keeping romance by having an unhealthy romance with screens. Okay. And so it has the ability to help us find others across the sea if we become spiritual enough to keep out the interference. And that is all. That is all for today's video on this topic. And God bless.